Thanks so much. Welcome, Joel. Welcome, everybody. This is Career Lab Wednesday. We are here every Wednesday from noon to 1 Central Time. Hello, Joel. Good to see you again.
Likewise. Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. So we are getting started here shortly. This is Career Lab Wednesday, every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. I've got an update about how we're going to run this. So typically we usually stream live the entire time, but we started experimenting with stopping the live stream at about 12:30. So I'll check in with everybody who's joining in to see if that's something that you want to do again. As I know, sometimes we get into more vulnerable stuff or things that we don't necessarily want streaming on LinkedIn Live. So all that said is we've got folks joining in. This is Career Lab Wednesday. Our topic this week is your people, your power. So we're following up from last week about networking. But I want to set the stage here and say that our topics, it just gives me something to talk about when I think I need to talk. What I really care about is you and what questions you have regarding your career. So everything is fair game. Any questions, whether you're at the beginning of your career, looking for entry-level positions, or if you've had your career, your job affected by the pandemic, and maybe you're going back into the interview space, or if you're working at a company and you just want to make a bigger difference there, or if you've got a challenge with an employee or with a boss or anything. So this time, the most important thing for you to know is that I'm here to serve you, to help answer your questions, help you with your career. Welcome, Terry. Good to have you on. Welcome again, Tyrone. Welcome again, Joel and Tiffany. Good to have you here. So I was just sharing that although we're talking about networking today, your people, your power, any question regarding career is open for discussion, open for us to get into. So there's a few ways that you can engage in Career Lab Wednesday. One is, I love it, like Terry and Joel and Tyrone and Tiffany, when you jump on Zoom, that way we can engage directly. I really love that. But if you're unable to, and you can only be viewing in through LinkedIn Live, then go ahead and type your questions into the comment section. And my lovely assistant, Jane Coletto, will get those over to me. Let me open up my chat here so I can see them come in.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Tyrone. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to.
Oh, good. Thanks for letting us know you're here and that we can hear you. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
So, all that being said, I would love to know how I can support you today. What is it that you're looking for? What questions do you have? So you can go ahead and type those into the chat or just come off mute and let me know your questions. Tyrone, do you have any updates?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I still have, I had an interview about a month ago for a technical support specialist position at a pharmaceutical company. George, it was one of the best interviews of my life. I've had I had a number of interviews in my lifetime, but this interview, we talked.
Well, Tyrone, what made it good?
Well, you know what? I researched the company, and it was more about data. We talked a lot more. We talked a lot more about data than anything else. And then I would say half of the interview was 50% data and 50% family. Because
oh, cool.
Yeah, we were. It was like an hour and a half, and he told me, well, he's from Nebraska, and we just started talking about family, and we also discussed about the event that I organized on December
Okay,
of
so
last.
Tyrone, it sounds like the interview went well.
It did. It
Did you
did.
get
So
is it a spot that you're interested in? Because I know you've been interviewing for a while. Was it something that you wanted to get involved with?
yeah, it was a technical support specialist position, and I was thinking it would be like like technical questions, but we talked about a few technical stuff, but not that much. It was just more data. It was a
Okay.
lot more
So,
data.
but that was a month ago, and so it's not something that you're doing right now. You're not working there.
No, 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 no. I'm still putting in other, applications, and I feel, you know what? To be honest, I feel real good about my chances. Uh, it's just one of those things. It kind of it leaves you kind of like sort of breathless at times, but
A month? Did they tell you how long it's going to take for them to get back to you?
no, that's the conversation went so well, and he advised me that he had a meeting to go to. So uh, and that's the one question I didn't, because everything was just going so smoothly. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But
So, so you haven't gotten. My guess is that you're not going to hear back from them.
right, which is okay,
But are you still actively looking? I know that you have a position, but you're still out there.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
What do you think would make the difference between you getting a call back and not getting a call back?
Me just asking the one question. When do I expect to get a call back? And it's simple.
Yeah, totally. So
It's,
that
it's
there's a level of rapport to build. So Tyrone, you're a super like warm guy. Like it's easy to talk to you. Like you can, like you were saying, you're in the interview and you're talking about your family and stuff. That doesn't mean though that they're going to trust you with the position.
right,
And
right,
so there's a way to start building the skills to let them know in the interview that you can handle it.
right, right.
And so that might be something to work a little bit more on. I I know you a little bit from you joining in here, but we might want to talk more about that.
Right. And he did mention about like what's the one he did ask me what was the one signature thing that you're proud of. And I did mention that it was a healthcare company that I was working. I worked as a system analyst, and I received a full, like they have like a 5-star award
Mm-hmm.
program for excellent customer service. And I did mention to him about that. I said I was proud when I received those awards, even though I wasn't there that long. It was a short tenure, but I was still able to get feedback from customers, and that right there it just helped me boost my confidence.
Oh,
It really
good. But Tyrone, I
Yeah,
want
so I
to check
did.
something out with you though, because the topic is your people, your power, and pretty consistently, I find that people don't use their network as well as they could.
Right.
Are you reaching out? Are you just responding to job ads, or are you also talking to people who you know?
Uh, that's a good question. I'm applying for positions. Uh, that's a good question. If I see, I try my best to see if I'm connected with anyone in that organization. But now if there is a position I just saw
But no,
in
so
my
Tyrone, this is a thing that happens too often. I'm sorry if anybody is offended. I often cuss.
oh,
Is mind fucking.
Right.
And it just happens, one of the things I work with people on is that you don't get to apply to job ads online for more than 30 minutes a day, because it's addictive. It's its own we could call it job applying porn, like it just doesn't go anywhere.
They don't.
And so I think that might be a thing for you to do I would have you look at the jobs you're interested in and then make connections with people.
Right.
Make connections and talk, see if you can talk to those people. If you know them, that's even better.
Yeah.
Circling back with them and saying like, hey, can you tell me about this? And that was something Dr. Medlock was talking about last week, is that people really like when somebody contacts them and says, tell me about this job. Tell me about this company. What's it like working there? What do you do there? And it actually is a gift to that other person that you're interviewing. It's a
Right.
gift to them to be able to talk. We all learn in different ways. And one of the ways that we learn is simply by talking out loud, hearing ourselves speak and getting that, like just having somebody be with us while we're doing that. It's like mirrors the parent-child relationship. So,
Right.
so if you can provide that service for somebody, if I'm, you call me and you're like, hey, what's the IT support needed at Wright Foundation? Can you tell me about that? I'll start telling you, like, man, the scams that we have coming in all the time, I'm terrified of clicking things. And at the same time, I'm on the marketing end. And so I'm sending out things and I'm trying to get our clients to not, right there, I'm going to talk your ear off if you let me. And then it's giving you the opportunity to say, oh, okay, great. That might be something that I can help with.
Right.
If that's something that your company is working on, it looks like there's a position for that. Can you make an introduction for me?
Right.
Because you can gain the trust by listening and then getting valuable data about it.
Right.
So between now and next week, will you connect with one person?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's a position I just saw just the other day within my own organization. And it's right down in the lines of cybersecurity specialist. And I just saw that the other day. So I'm gonna apply. Well, I've already applied for it. But now that you just put the icing on the cake,
So who are you going to connect with that's going to help get you in there and help your resume get looked at?
I'm going to connect with some people that's in that particular building.
Okay.
That's in that particular department, and that's and that's the thing. I just have to learn how to, in my own way, do a follow up.
Yeah.
In my own right. I have to follow up and not expect them to do everything, because they're not. You have to, like you said, you have to lay the foundation.
Totally. And you can let them know that too. So, I'm going to do a quick speaking to everybody viewing in. Part of how we function in this career lab is to be looking at what's so for you individually. So everybody listening in on LinkedIn Live, everybody in the Zoom, is notice the spots in your life, in your career development, where you kind of know you should have a conversation with somebody and you might be avoiding it, or just be open to looking at that and thinking about that and being with it. It can be a little uncomfortable, but be thinking about that. And so Tyrone, thank you, because you are leading us into that space as you're sharing. So you're going to connect with somebody.
Yes.
Awesome. I look forward to hearing about that. And it really, this conversation underlines something that one of our guests, Scott Holderson, said a few weeks ago, which is oftentimes, it's not always the case, but often the jobs that are posted are the leftovers.
Okay.
Hey, Corey, good to have you on again.
Hold on one second, Earl.
So,
I'm not on mute.
hey, Corey.
Hey,
I hope
George.
I can see your face soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, you can. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Let me turn that on.
So Tyrone, thank you. Thanks for getting us started and leading us in deeper into ourselves. With the way that we talk about our career is that it's a vessel or it's a pathway for us to reach our potential. And so Tyrone, it looks like right now there's you following up with people and valuing yourself in the interaction that you're going to be going into this week. I look forward to hearing about it. Oh shoot, Tyrone just froze. Well, everybody else.
It's okay. Corey is not frozen.
Corey, hey, good to see you.
Great to see you, George.
So Corey, how can we support you today? What coaching are you looking for?
Well, before I say what type of coaching I'm looking for, just give you a little bit about where I'm at right now.
Even better.
Yeah, I just recently transitioned from a role as pretty high level, senior manager, director of governance risk compliance, operating as a CISO advisor, definitely, for a $8 billion a year company. And prior to that, I worked for the world's largest bank in the investment side and also commercial credit side, leading disaster recovery, identity access management, right? And so I've been reaching out to various recruiters and HR people applying to roles that they've posted. And I've been getting some great responses and feedback. Oh my God, your resume is amazing. You definitely are the man for this. I'm going to send your stuff over. All right, let's do it. And then I've gotten a couple of interviews with companies. Maybe it wasn't the right role, but I killed the interview, right? Because right now I'm transitioning from my current job because I moved from one state to the next and everybody wants this hybrid. I'm like, I can't do that. And it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I got to go. Right. And so that's it. So now I'm looking, but fighting through that sea of 260 resumes, 310 resumes, it's just hard. And even when you make the connection with folks, it's like, oh, you're lucky. You were the first person that contacted me. And then you'll talk to them for like 2 or 3 days. And then next week, 2 weeks, ghosted. It's like, what happened? What's going on? So that's what's happening. Yeah.
Has this ever happened before for you?
Never. I've never been without a role longer than a week. I've always had multiple offers, just kind of like flooding in. It's just kind of crazy.
Corey, I got some, I think, bad news.
Okay.
Everything that you just said, I'm looking for your blind spot, and I'm not finding one.
Okay.
So I know that things have been really weird with COVID.
Yeah.
I know in a kind of consistent thing with a lot of companies that I've sort of seen is that they know that they need to hire somebody, but they don't have a great hiring process. That's often the case. And so I'm often kind of coaching people to be more persistent, to make more of those internal connections. You said you're doing that.
I am. And, my follow-up, I believe my follow-up is good. Over the last couple of years, I've been participating in like leadership coaching with outside organizations and agencies through my employer, right? They pay for it. So let's do it, right? The leadership coaching. And so when you talk about blind spots and you talk about what's so and things like that, that's all language from a lot of these various coaching organizations. Like, yeah, this makes total sense. How to follow up, follow through, be proactive versus reactive.
So Corey, it sounds like you're going to know better than probably me or maybe anybody on here, but I'd love to hear from others as well. But what do you think is going on?
I just think people are being inundated. They're trying to fight through the inundation of, resumes. I have alerts set so I can catch them quickly and then try to locate the definitely someone in HR because I want to follow the process. But just recently, over the past couple of weeks, I've been reaching out to who I think could be part of the group or department that, you know, would be involved in the hiring process. You know, and some people have like, yeah, I'll send your resume on, and others don't respond. So it's that, you know. And I mean, I guess one thing that I probably should do, and I should have did this first, but now looking at you and listening to the previous gentleman, leveraging my network a bit more. I haven't really leveraged my personal network. These are all new contacts and connections. I've only reached out to like 2 people on my personal network because I saw they had roles open at their company. So
Okay, so that's a big piece, and I want to put this in a kind of a different context. And I'm, as I'm saying this, I'm you know, aware of where I'm on the journey with you. I just had a conversation yesterday with my best friend from high school, who in some ways is, you know, and there was some unfinished business and stuff that we hadn't talked about. And I realized the ways that I've avoided him over the years. And then I see how that's like hurt me in an interpersonal way. How I've held myself back, even in just in moment, like the fact that I'm even fucking talking about this on LinkedIn Live, you know, and but it's like that level of kind of opening up to people around me in my network, that there's always more to do. I think is the point I'm making. I hate asking for help, and yet pretty much when I ask for help, people help me. And then I kind of got to eat crow, and my limiting belief self is kind of like, no, they're helping you. Like, you're not alone. Oh no. You know, like, I don't know why, but you know, we're complex organisms, us people. So yeah. I think that might be something for you to investigate, just in terms of who's in your network. What's your birth order? Oldest?
I am the oldest. I'm the oldest.
Yeah, well, it gives us a whole lot of data right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a level probably of where you're used to taking on the responsibility and being the right one, and kind of holding the torch. And this is the next layer of where I can say career development is also you reaching your potential, not just in a doing sense, but also in a being with people sense. And I'll tell a quick story. There's this one guy I was working with who, this guy was like scary smart. Like, I'm intimidated in our coaching session with him. And he was struggling because in interviews, in the final interview, when he's with like the C-suite, these like powerful people, he would start to freeze up. And he said one time he was like, I literally, no word came out of my mouth for like a minute after they asked me a question. It was hell.
Wow.
And he's like, all I want from coaching, if nothing else, it's just that I don't ever do that again. And I was like, okay, I think we'll do that and some more. And so in finding out about him, he's the oldest. We came up with an assignment, and this is, so what Tyrone's gonna do is he's gonna reach out to one person, because we want to do something that's just a little outside of your comfort zone. And so what a little bit outside of his comfort zone was going to be, because he's always right, was he's going to make mistakes. And so he had a job, he was just applying for something else. So he goes to work and he starts making little mistakes. And his team's like, that's not how you do that. And everybody starts like correcting him and laughing at him. And he came back to the next session. He's like, George Donald, it was the most productive week at work of my life. Wow. I didn't realize I was micromanaging the way I was. My team is way more capable than I ever thought they were. And he's like, this is ridiculous. And he's like, I think I get the thing with the interviewing too. He's like, I can buy myself some time. I don't have to have the right answer. I can actually, in the interview, say, I don't understand. Can you help me understand more? And just, and so there's things like this to experiment with. And I, you know, there could be some zone here. So I've talked for a long time. I kind of want to hear your response, Corey.
No, I love that. And I think that resonates with me quite a bit. I've never had that freeze moment, but I felt that freeze moment in the past, you know, giving presentations and delivering speeches on stage and things like that. You know, just by the nature of the work that I've done and doing presentations and participating in like innovation and things. But, you know, I can definitely relate to the micromanaging. I experienced that, you know, probably a few years ago in my career, and it took a while to let go. You know, it took a while to let go. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, and in interviews, I like to be over prepared. So if I've read the job description and someone says, "Hey, we're going to interview tomorrow," because I've been in technology and business for 20 years, I'm going to be prepared from my own experience, and I'm going to be super researched on what they want to talk about. And we're going to have not an interview, but a conversation about it. I'm going to control it like that. And that seems to work well, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not finding the right roles, or if I don't know where the breakdown is happening right now.
So there's a few thoughts I have, Corey. Do you have any interviews coming up?
I don't have anything lined up right now. I had like 6 interviews last week. Today is Wednesday. I had 3 earlier this week. You know, I've just, like, over the last 3 weeks, I've been on a tear trying to just find roles and line them up as quickly as possible, because I did have 3 offers last month. And when the market started to shift, it seemed like a bunch of companies got spooked. These were like with management consulting firms, and they're like, "Whoa, we don't know what we're doing right now. We're going to take a break."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, are you kidding me? So I had 2 verbal offers, and I'm waiting for a couple of days for them to come through. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for you to send me the letter, and it got rescinded. So that's
shit. Okay, sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
okay,
sad about
so based on our conversation, what 1 to 3 things are you going to do differently this week?
Well, the one thing that I'm absolutely gonna do is sort my LinkedIn connections, you know, by people, companies, try to figure that out, and then reach out to like 3 people a day. I'm going to craft like a form letter. And I have a couple of them, you know, because when you send the messages to recruiters, they give you a decent template, but I always edit it. And I'm going to do the same thing for my connections. And then I'm gonna, I think the other thing that I can do is look at my connections and then look for roles at their companies that match my background and say, hey, you know, I see this thing here. Here's my updated resume and a cover letter. Can you refer me?
That sounds really good. And are some of these people that you've worked with at Chaser or Motorola?
Yeah, at a bunch of places. You know, I've been around for a minute, been a consultant. So in my
Okay.
LinkedIn connections, I have like 3,500 people. I mean, it's a lot to some, it's nothing to others, you know. And I also ran a managed services company before. So I have some associates there that I can reach out to. And
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I look forward to hearing how this goes.
yeah, me too, man. And I'll definitely keep you abreast of it. And, you know, it's like now I'm definitely going to do that. But I was also thinking about coaching other engineers and analysts in the cybersecurity space as well, because I have a lot to offer. I've covered everything across the board, from pen testing, detection, protection, governance, risk compliance, mergers and acquisitions, and all that stuff from a execution standpoint, leadership standpoint. So I don't know. Until I land something, I think I'll do that. You know.
That sounds good. You know, we had a guy who was way overqualified, but he had moved to a new spot. And what he did was he just took a role, and they were like, "You're way overqualified for this." He was like, "I know, but I'm in this space and I can serve you, right?" And he's like, "I just want to get something going." And and it ended up being the foundation for like his dream job and him being able to kind of develop the relationships to create what he wanted. So, you know, just putting that out there as maybe another thing to hold while you're moving on. But it sounds like your plan right now is good. Check in next week with us and
Okay.
see
Yeah,
how
I'll
it's
definitely
going.
do that. Okay. Yeah, this was good, man. It definitely opened my mind up to some other possibilities.
Fantastic. Well, Corey, we've kind of run into each other on LinkedIn, so to speak, and it's good to see your face here and get to know
Likewise.
you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well,
Thank you, George.
you.
This was good.
Awesome. So, room reset. This is Career Lab Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. Tyrone, Corey, great work. Again, what we do, we are co-voyaging. It's a jargon term, but meaning that we are on the journey with you. So anybody who's sharing, it's like we're applying it to ourselves wherever we're at in our lives, even if it's not the same line of work or whatever. We want to relate. We want to learn vicariously. Joel, I see you have your hand raised.
You bet. I wasn't, I'm new to this, so I'm not sure what your policies and procedures are. I just wanted to respond to Corey. I've done some high-level training with a transformational international coach from Stanford MBA school. She's got over 20,000 contacts. And one of her processes is what she calls the LinkedIn side door process. And so you go on to the company, 1, 2, or 3 companies a week. You pick these companies that you want to work for, and you see who might be your friend on LinkedIn. You look who your friends are, and then you talk to them, because recruiters are absolutely slammed, inundated. They have no time to talk. They're very hard to get to. So if you get to the lower level people and you connect with them and you talk to them and say, hey, I'm just trying to get into this company. This is what I do. Next thing you know, they might know someone that knows a recruiter, and they get your information to them because they like you. It's like one of the most popular processes to get into the recruiters.
That sounds awesome, Joel. And Jane, I think we got to like highlight that in the replay. Thank you for raising your hand and sharing that.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jane.
Yeah, that was so cool. Thank you, Joel.
Yes, no, and yes, please, everybody, when you have knowledge to drop, please do.
And her name is Johanna Wise. She's actually a friend. She's here in Reno, Nevada. Her and her husband, they're pretty powerful, and I don't know if you know about the entrepreneurial circles. One of them's called 1 Million Cups with the Kauffman Foundation. They're usually a weekly meeting. You go in, you sit around, and people around there know people around there, and they know the companies that are hiring. And usually 2 companies do a 6-minute pitch each.
Oh,
You usually have these entrepreneurial circles in your cities that know everybody, and highly recommend that.
yeah. I mean, now that things are opening up again, in Chicago, things have been open for a few months. There is in-person networking, and it's might be a really great time. But I think the other thing too, I want to underline is with what Corey was sharing about when there's big transitions, everybody's afraid. So we're going to go a little bit into the right developmental model and social emotional intelligence. And so we, as human beings, we're not often conscious of how afraid we are, because I don't know that we need to go into the because, but when big shifts happen, then lots of people will pull their resources, hold off on taking risks, hold off on things that might have just been normal before. And so that can be a helpful thing. And the importance of our network, I am going to tie this back to our topic, is that a relationship, people actually know you. People, and so if I'm looking at a whole bunch of different options, And I'm also scared of making a decision. But if I know somebody and I'm like, oh, okay, I have a relationship with them and I know that they get shit done and I know that they're a pleasure to work with. I know that there's somebody that I want. That adds a lot. And so over life, developing your network, including people in your job search process, letting people know that you want help with something, you're going to stick in their mind more. You know, when you do get the job that you want, then to be celebrated, include the people who care about you in celebrating you. You know, this then builds over time. I mean, I would never be doing a freaking LinkedIn Live thing like this, like probably even 5 years ago. But by continually kind of putting myself out there, talking to more people, I'm now in a space where I'm doing it. So you know, I'm just kind of wanting to lay out kind of a journey like that. And Joel, I know you are a freaking badass networker. I know you a little bit from the More Life training a few weeks ago. So I so appreciate you being on here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Honor and pleasure. Thank you very much.
So we invite all questions here on Career Lab Wednesday. We've been talking about networking, interviewing, what the hell's up with the job market, and invite any more questions that folks have, anything that you're working on. Oh, here we do have this. So risks in using your network that your current company may find out. You know what? I'm thinking that maybe now is the time to transition. So I'm in the bind of what I love about doing LinkedIn Career Lab Wednesday is that it goes out on LinkedIn, lots of people can view in. But then I also am aware that that's a little bit of a problem when people want to discuss more and might not feel comfortable sharing on LinkedIn Live. So I think we're going to transition to canceling the LinkedIn Live stream. So Jane, go ahead and turn that off. And awesome. Thank you so much, Jane.